can never break your pride. Don't believe what they tell you. They try to sell you. When dreams died, plans fell through. They can never break your pride. They can never take your pride.
Hello there, you're watching The Topics. My name is Bunnag.
And I'm Adrian Stewart.
And joining us in the studio this week is Mrs. Jirapon Chayasan, a social commentator and registered member of the Pheu Thai Party.
And the topics for this week are...
Flood 2012.
Is Justice Blind?
Hit and Run.
Flagging in the South.
Gold for Thailand.
Rail fix.
Divorce rates are up.
And drinking insecticides.
We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with The Topics.
Welcome back to The Topics, and with us today is Jirapon Chayasan. Welcome to the show, our first female guest. She is a social critic as well as a registered member of the Pheu Thai Party. Start with our first topic, the floods.
The floods.
Is there going to be a repeat of the floods that we had last year? There's been so much worry that the tests being done by the government to test the drainage is going to make it worse.
It's going to cause
a flood.
Okay.
So, what do you think?
Well, I think the residents are, the Bangkokans are, I think, prepared, and because I think everyone didn't want, what happened last year.
They are prepared, meaning they think that it's going to flood?
Well, for the flooded area that has flooded before the flood, I mean, they have to be prepared. But for those, who would be scared of the flood again, I think they are prepared enough, to get ready for the flood.
Now, these tests were supposed to test the drains to see if the flow of water can actually, they can actually handle the huge flow of water. Mm-hmm. Why did they test this during a rainy season?
Well, I think it's already scheduled in. It's not.
Who would schedule?
Well, they need to have, they need to have a volume of water, a suitable volume of water, presumably to test the drainage capacity anyway, Adrian. That's why.
So if you test, if you're going to do a fire drill,
yeah.
do you need to burn?
No, but you still need water, and if you do it in dry season, there's not enough water to test. But I think if we rewind a little bit for the reason why there might be a flood. I mean, the main reason why there was a flood last year is because some bright spark decided to keep all the water behind the dams.
That's right. Yes.
And if
the water level behind the dams is at a suitable level, then there shouldn't be a flood. Not on the same scale as what we saw last year.
Well, I think the overall scheme is to effectively manage the water flow, and to have the test is to see how the water flow would be, and also how they can effectively manage the drainage system, because you have to see all the canals, before the flood. It's just like, the drainage system.
Well, I think last year, if I remember correctly, the Deputy Agriculture Minister admitted that
he kept too much water.
He kept too much water in the dams for the rice crop. So
how's the water level in the dams?
Are they going to make the same mistakes again this year?
I don't think no one wants to make the same mistake. I think it's just a matter of trying to coordinate.
Talking about coordinate, there's this issue, right? The minister was saying, I'm going to put out water, and the Bangkok governor was saying it's not the right time.
Well, I think everyone has to work together now. It's not about being another between Pheu Thai and Democrat. I think everyone has to make an effort to work together. Otherwise, Bangkokans will suffer, and residents will suffer again. And there has to be a more effective communications between the government and also the interior ministry as well as the Bangkok Metropolitan.
They started the test 2 days ago, right? They started the test 2 days ago, and 1,000 rai of farming land in Ayutthaya was flooded.
Well, that didn't have anything to do with the the test. So it's
very
because
convenient.
It
It's very convenient to say that it's got nothing to do with the
Adrian,
test.
it rains, and naturally
So
it
it
passes,
rains, you do a test,
the water,
and then there's a flood, and you say it's got nothing to do with the
hey,
test.
if the rice field is already, if it's if the rice field is in a lower plane, then naturally it would flood. If there's heavy rain.
I would say, I would say that they probably chose this period to test because if the test failed, they will blame it on the rain.
Right.
Well,
Jay
they
said
need,
need the water level.
Adrian, they do need to
They
have,
need
they
to
do
have
need to
the
have
water
water.
level.
They do
Yeah,
need to
you
have water
as you
to
said, there's
test.
water in the dam, right? They could have released the water in the dam to test.
Yeah.
They need to
But
test
but-
the flow of the Kong, the water to from Kong to Vivattana to Kong Pasir Jalon, and so they need to test the water level how it flows. So I mean you cannot have like a 50%.
I mean, I think okay. Another point. Okay, I mean, we should move on from that point. But another point is that all these flood barriers that are being built,
300
flood
billion
defenses that
baht,
are being
yeah.
built on riverbanks and all around these industrial estates, this could actually help contribute to making the floods worse second time around if we have something on the same scale, because they're actually blocking the natural pathways of water and containing the water into smaller areas, and then when it hits an area where the flood defenses aren't so strong, then the river could potentially burst its banks, I think.
Well, I mean the system is supposed to allow the water to flow effectively. So the way they manage to build the dam to protect the industrial estates is to be able to manage the water flow around the
I
the
hope
industrial
the
estates
right
area.
experts are being called in to help. I mean, you watch Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
Hollywood movies, when there's a scene starts with disaster, when there's a disaster, and then the next thing is helicopters come and pick up experts and say, you are needed to help us. Are the right experts
Well, last
involved?
year they picked up a prime minister, an army general, and
I would say there are a lot more experts on water flow.
okay, we've got
Let's
to
hope
move
they
on.
get the right
We've got to move
experts.
on. So we'll see. I mean, rainy season, it seems, is just really kicking in now.
I bought flood insurance.
As long as there's not too much water in the dams, and as long as all those flood defences allow water to pass through, as long as they let the water go in a natural manner, they don't hold it anywhere, as long as the clongs have been dredged properly this year, I don't think we're going to see any major flooding. I mean, it was mainly man-made last year anyway, I think. So we've got to move on. What's the next topic?
The next topic is justice blind. There was a case of this, we spoke about this a couple of episodes ago. So last week the court handed down the sentence on the young female driver who was involved in the accident on the tollway, where her car hit a van and 9 people actually perished in that accident.
Okay.
So she got what did she get? She got a suspended 2-year sentence.
She was suspended
she's
2-year
been-
prison sentence.
Yeah, and she has to do 48 hours of community work.
Yep.
And she's banned from getting a driving license for 7 years.
Right.
So there was a bit of uproar in the social networks and amongst various forums that that's too light, too little for what she costs. What do you think?
Well, I would agree. I mean, I think justice, the sentence already been made. So therefore, I don't think we can do anything about it. But socially, well, it's very for the family. I think the girl should acknowledge and apologize.
She was a juvenile. She has not made an official apology. I think her family is concerned that if she makes an apology, is as good as admitting that she caused the accident. But now she's been found guilty anyway. The cause of the accident was because of her. So if it's because of her, she has not apologized yet.
People have said if you look at the YouTube, if you look at the CCTV camera footage of the manner in which she was driving and the manner in which the minivan was driving, I haven't seen it, but I've been told that the minivan driver was swerving across the lane and crashed into her. And if you drive on the expressway, you always see the minivan drivers driving in a very, very reckless manner. I mean, there was a spate of these accidents. This particular accident took place in December 2010. And just around that time, there was a spate of 2 or 3 accidents where a van had crashed over the top and burst into flames, and several people being killed. On a daily basis, if you drive on the expressways, you see these minivan drivers driving like they're like crazy lunatics. So it's only a matter of time before these accidents happen.
You can't always blame it on the other guy, right?
Yeah.
No,
I mean, it's a valid point that, okay,
she shouldn't even be driving in the first place.
She shouldn't have been, she was a minor, she didn't have a driving license.
That's right.
She shouldn't have been driving.
That's right.
She should accept responsibility.
That's right.
And there's always a way in Thailand where responsibility is accepted through compensation.
Right.
The families are asking 110 million baht.
Not necessarily through jail time. Not necessarily through jail time, but through compensation.
But money cannot.
You know, money doesn't bring anyone back, but I mean, it's just the way it is here.
The problem with money is this. The problem with money is this. You know, what's happening on the social network, there's this picture of 2 people. One was this lady who was sentenced to jail for, I think, 2 years.
Right.
All she did was she found some pirated DVDs or something, and she sold them, and she was arrested.
Right.
And she was found guilty of selling pirated DVDs.
Right.
She was fined 30,000 baht, but
and sent to jail.
She was fined 30,000 baht, but she couldn't afford to pay 30,000 baht, so she had to serve a jail sentence.
Right.
She was the only breadwinner for 2 young kids. So there's a picture of her hugging her kids as she walked into prison, compared to this lady who killed, directly or indirectly, caused the death of 9 people, being given a suspended 2-year sentence. Now, does money make you less guilty?
No.
No,
Of course not.
of course not. You cannot compare it like that.
I mean, that girl will probably have to live with the stigma for the rest of her life. She'll always be known as the girl that killed 9 people on the expressway and didn't do any jail time for it. And her parents are probably the ones that should be held responsible anyway.
Exactly.
She's
another point
she's
that I
a
was
juvenile
saying.
driving a car late at night without
right.
a driver's license. She was, what, 16 or 17 at the
she was
time?
16 at the
The
time.
Driving
parents
on the
should be penalized, don't you
expressway
think?
at expressway speeds. So if anyone should be going to jail, it should be her parents, surely.
Well, I think the lesson
the parents
drawn.
should be held accountable anyway.
Yeah. The lesson drawn from this is two things, you know. I mean, minors should not be driving. There should be, you know, more enforcement on this. And second thing is that, you know, we should regulate the van driver as well, you know, because a lot of time they drive very, very dangerously.
Oh, most
and they
of the time.
carry a lot of passengers.
Van drivers and bus drivers. I mean, there was a story in The Nation, I think, a couple of weeks ago, where some experts were saying the death toll on Thailand's roads is too high. People are driving too recklessly and killing themselves. The authorities need to make the roads safer with better signage and better road conditions. Hell no. Thai people need to start facing up to their inadequacies about driving and just be sensible. Stop drink driving. Stop driving like it's a racetrack, because it's not. And if you're in a van or in a bus where the driver's behaving like a madman, you know, people need to stand up for
and
themselves.
please stop for the pedestrians.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, you know, the drivers don't have any care for the pedestrians at all, you know.
So perhaps we should send everyone in Thailand back to driving school.
Oh, yes.
Okay, we got to stop. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with the next session of the talk.
They can never break your pride.
Welcome back, and we move on to our next topics. A Ferrari slammed into a policeman's motorbike, and he left the scene, and he has been arrested.
He's also being charged with drunken driving.
Yeah, he had. So if he still had 63 milligrams 12 hours after the accident,
Well, he
what
could have
was
been.
it at the point of accident?
Maybe they'll say he was drinking during the daytime after.
Okay, 200 kilometers and even 100 kilometers an hour on Sukhumvit Road. How often can you do that? How can you do that? There's so many people on the road.
You could probably do it at 5 a.m. in the morning when there's no other
5
traffic.
a.m. people are going to school.
No, and if you're driving a Ferrari as well, I imagine it's very easy to get up to 200. It probably takes about 11 seconds.
Well, again, you know, it's about road safety. You know, I think everyone has to be more careful on the road. It's unfortunate that the incident, you know, took the life of a police officer, and I think, you know, right now the family, you know, the Vitaya family is really handling the situation by way of trying to, you know,
Yes, the father went to pay
the
respects.
funeral, and actually
the driver, also went to pay respects, you know, at the funeral. You know, only in Thailand where you have the driver who killed someone actually can go and pay respects at the funeral. I mean, in the other countries, if the driver turns up, you're probably beaten up by the relatives. You know, so perhaps because what we talked about earlier, compensation is in play here. We're talking about the rich compensating the family of the dead policemen for the loss.
No, I think it's just that first of all, I think you have to be fair to the both sides. You know, I mean, you have a loss of a police officer, and the police are investigating, and they're gathering evidence. You know, and in also the Gating Dang, you know, the Youth Vitaya family is also, I think, trying to manage the social calm in a way that they.
So do you think the policeman who tried to arrest the family driver as a scapegoat will get a harsher penalty than the guy who was actually driving the car?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not sure. I think they
take
are.
A guess. What do you think is going to
happen?
happen?
I mean, I cannot take a guess because I think
His
right now
penalty
right now
you can speculate. You can speculate.
He will be terminated from his job,
No,
a job that he's been at for years.
Adrian,
yeah.
Do you think who's going to get?
Unfortunately, the
dealt with more
policeman who
harshly?
tried to arrest a scapegoat will probably
He'll lose his job.
lose his job. Yeah,
He'll lose his pension,
that's right.
and he might even do jail time. Right?
Maybe, I'm not sure about jail time, but he'll definitely lose his job and his pension.
Well,
so
I mean,
he's going to be suffering more than
let's wait for the investigation.
people are already saying. Suspended 2-year sentence.
Well, is that your pick on the sentencing?
I'm not a judge, but look at the way things were handled. 200 policemen surrounded a house to arrest a rich guy who hit another policeman.
Well, let's wait
when
until
we talk about gambling den somewhere, one policeman goes check it out, not 200.
Well, let's wait.
That's overreaction.
I don't know. I think we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I think we might see this one as a real test case because there's been so much furore over these kind of cases where privileged and wealthy people are allegedly doing bad stuff and getting away with it.
That's right.
So sooner or later, someone has to be made an example of.
Don't ever buy a Ferrari for your kid, Jay.
No. Okay, we've got to
take
move
your
on.
Ferrari.
What's the next topic?
Next, we are talking about the recent incident in the South. Again, we come back to the South, and apparently on the 31st of August, which happened to be the Independence Day of the 50th Independence Day of Malaysia, as well as the anniversary of the Bersatu Movement Foundation, 100 over incidents occurred in the South. 100 over incidents of disruption and a bit of violence and some flags, Malaysian flags were put up, Thai flags were burned, some bombs went off. 100 cases in one day. What's going on here? 100 cases
what is
in
going
one day.
on? What is going down there? Going on down there, Jenny?
Well, the army chief said that it's the unrest cannot be cannot go away, but he didn't give the solution as how he will able to handle the situation, because it's a continued unrest and a lot of money has been put in.
So they're planting all these
100.
Malaysian flags.
Yeah.
Okay, they're burning Thai flags and they're planting these Malaysian flags, and some of them are also being booby-trapped as well. So when Thai soldiers or local people go to remove them, they could potentially get injured or killed.
100 incidents, Jay. 100
Yeah, but
incidents. It's
how can they-
coordinated.
but how can they find the time to plant all these flags?
Exactly.
and
When
then
there are
just-
patrols,
they do it in the middle of the
there
night.
are
I guess.
patrols, there are checkpoints,
Yeah.
there are cops, there are soldiers, and how did 100 incidents take place in one day under the eyes of the security forces? How?
The security forces need to be more effective in dealing with the unrest. I think it's the continued unrest is wasting a lot of lives, and it's the money is being spent. It's just overspending of everything, and it's
Well, the reason. What I want to know is why. Why is this happening? I mean, I've been in Thailand for 16 years, 17 years now, and sort of for the first half of that period, there was a little bit of unrest in the south, but it seems like in the last 8 years, 7, 8 years, that it's really just flared up, and every year it seems to get worse and worse and worse. No matter what they do, there seems to be no end to it now. It's death, violence, death, beheadings, shootings, burnings, bombings, almost on a daily basis now.
Well, I think the problem has always been that, because of the established separatist movement. But at the same time, the handling of the situation, has to be coordinated. The budget has to be spent more wisely. And at the same time, I think, the society is demanding, like you said, why.
Well, I mean, it's been going on for so long. I mean, every year intelligence gathering and effective reply to violence or response should be getting.
Are they sending 200 policemen to surround the house?
No, but they should be learning from their mistakes and combating it more effectively. I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean,
yeah, we did.
Sending soldiers out on patrol on motorcycles, it's not the way to go. If you're scared of being shot at or bombed, there should be in armored vehicles, armored Land Rovers. I mean, we've got the history of terrorist violence all around the world that they could learn from. Get armoured Land Rovers, get more Humvees or something. For God's sake, don't drive around on motorcycles and get blown up.
The Prime Minister visited the South this week to check on progress by herself. 500 policemen provided security. 500 policemen providing security to all the innocent people on a daily basis in the South?
Hey, you're talking about protecting the Prime Minister.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't disagree.
It's easy to protect. I mean, it should be relatively simple to protect one person that you have to protect, but you can't protect a whole population.
I understand, but they had soldiers protecting monks, they had soldiers protecting schools. You had simple targets to do it, but again, some of them failed.
Well, it seemed like the groups who are responsible for the bombs and for the attacks, it's getting a hold of, it's doing a better job.
Is it that easy to build a bomb? You
yes,
can.
Yes,
yeah, it is that easy. I mean, you can
get instructions on the internet.
Get it off the internet, get it off YouTube, and you can do it. Yeah. I mean, you don't know what kind of backing these guys down there are getting, what kind of resources they have at their disposal, because most of the time, whenever they attack and disable an army patrol, they take away the weapons, they take away the flak jackets, the hand grenades, whatever, the ammunition. Don't forget that army camps have been raided. Remember one of the incidents that kicked all this off about 7, 8 years ago, or 9 years ago even, was when that army camp was raided late at night and 400 M16s were stolen with ammunition. I mean, they had certainly kind of recovered all of them. So, I mean, there's a lot of weapons out there.
Well, there's definitely one that's floating around now. The policeman that got hit by the Ferrari, they couldn't find his gun as well. So, one of them is going all the way to the south, perhaps, then.
I don't know. Okay.
So
I'm not really sure where we're going with that, but we're going to take another break, and we'll be back right after this with more of the topics.
They can never break your pride.
Okay, welcome back to the topics. We're going to move on to the next one. The Paralympics are currently taking place in London. Thailand has got 3 gold medals. How about that? More gold medals in the Olympics.
But do people know about it?
Yeah, of course people know about it. It's been in the press.
There's been no live coverage.
Paralympics is not on the same scale as the regular Olympics. It's just
so the Paralympic goal is worth less than an
No,
Olympic.
it's not.
No,
But
it's
what I'm
not.
saying
It's
is that
not.
in marketing terms, okay, and TV viewership terms, it's not such an event. I mean, it just isn't. Maybe.
Granted, I do not disagree.
I mean, I know in the UK, if you follow the news over there, they've been making a really big hoo-ha about the success of the UK athletes winning Paralympic medals. Okay, so I think this hopefully will be the beginning of the rise of the Paralympics, because these Olympians deserve all the recognition that they can get. They respect. I mean, they work hard just as hard as
they are disabled.
Yeah.
They probably had to work harder to train. They probably had to use better.
Oh,
facilities
maybe their skills. Yeah,
and
they've probably
everything else.
they've had worse facilities. They've had a much bigger struggle probably, and maybe the skill set that they have to use because of their disabilities is maybe is much higher than.
Are these people getting enough support from government, society? What do you think?
Well, hopefully they'll get more after winning, and it's well, congratulations to the athletes who have won the golds and who have not, who try hard. And I think the Sport Authority of Thailand is sponsoring some of them, and it's just not enough, fund going around, to sponsor this. I think, corporations need to get involved, and some corporations have already gotten involved.
Yeah, like the guy who won the gold in ping pong, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna get like 4 million from the authorities or
Yeah, the
sports
fund,
committee.
the sports fund.
Yeah, 4 million baht, and he was saying he's gonna give 2 million to half of it for his mother and for the house, and the other half for his own training. Does he have to pay for his own training?
Oh no, actually, a lot of athletes do have to pay for their own training, and
Okay.
a lot of Thai athletes in the normal or the regular Olympics, they have to pay their own way to go there. They have to pay for their own accommodation.
That doesn't
They have to-
right.
I mean,
right? They're doing a
yeah,
service for the country. I think there should be more support
no,
for
but
them.
there are also athletes that want to compete, and they want to compete at the highest level. Unfortunately, we don't have, maybe we don't have equitable budget allocation.
The able-bodied athletes will
Yeah.
probably be able to fund their own training because they could probably go for appear in sport equipment advertisements. But the less disabled athlete has to fund his own. He's not going to get the support
but I
of
mean,
corporate.
the able-bodied ones had to fund. A lot of them have to fund their own
Yeah,
training.
they
A lot of
do.
them have to pay their own way.
Yeah.
It's not unusual. Yeah, and it happens. This is not the only country in the world that it happens. But I would say that the chairman of the Thai Paralympic Committee Foundation is Kunjutinan Pirampakti of Bunnag Corporation.
So we hope that Bunnag is
Well,
supporting them in more ways than.
I mean, if anyone has the setup and the
means, yeah.
experience and the strength of character
And the capability
to
as well.
step up to and give these guys the support and develop the facilities and give them the recognition they deserve, then it's people like that. So I mean, hopefully, our disabled athletes will go from strength to strength. I mean, it's going to take time. I mean, we just don't have the facilities. We don't have the culture of building facilities for these guys. I mean, and also your point about our businessmen rushing to endorse these guys.
They aren't, right?
Maybe they're not right now, but let's wait and see for when they come back. Maybe
hope so.
maybe the media has a role to play here as well, and making a big enough fuss when these guys and these girls come back from London to say that, okay, these guys, they deserve recognition, they deserve respect, and they deserve support. So maybe that's one way of looking at it. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, hopefully, corporations and government agency can get more involved in supporting, the athletes. It's, it gives boost and then the confidence to the disabled, that they are able to overcome, the disability and be able to compete at a, global level.
Yeah, and I think the community or the citizens of Thailand at large
So what have
also
we
encourage them.
what have we got gold medals in? Table tennis?
Table tennis.
Table tennis
Fencing.
and fencing.
Fencing
I'm not sure what the other one
I'm
is.
not
See?
sure what the other one.
There's not enough coverage.
See, you don't know.
There's not enough coverage.
You're shouting
Yeah.
about
There's
it.
not enough
You're
coverage.
shouting about it.
Yeah, but
you
there's
don't
not enough
actually
coverage.
You don't know.
The
It's
first,
there. You got it in your paper right in front
the
of you.
first winner of gold medal is the the
Table tennis.
Kun Vung Road,
Yes,
who
yes.
actually mentioned that he trained. He actually have achieved a dream of like 10 years. And he's with his help. With his father's help. It's I think to parental support is very important to have the athletes be trained in a proper way, and it's actually it takes a lot of efforts and money and time.
Well, I mean, it says here that swimming, wheelchair racing, and fencing are the other Paralympic disciplines in which Thai athletes have reigned supreme over the years. So we're obviously pretty good at this kind of stuff.
I'll check on that.
Okay,
Let's move
so
on to the next
let's
topic.
move on. The next topic is fakes. Don't bring fakes into Thailand.
Yeah,
You can take them
That's
out.
funny. That's
You can
funny.
take them out, but you can't bring them in.
That's funny.
You shouldn't take them
Lady
out.
Gaga was here. You remember Lady
Oh,
Gaga
yeah,
was here a
yeah.
couple of months ago, singing a song, playing a concert.
And she
And
tweeted.
she said, did she tweet or something? She said
tweeted.
that I'm
gonna
in
get some-
Bangkok and la-di-da-di-da, great, gonna have a great time. I want to go to somewhere and buy, did you say a fake Rolex
Yeah,
or
she
fake
said,
Louis
she said
Vuitton
she
or
wants to go
something
to
like
a
that?
ladies' market and pick up a fake Rolex. So
Yeah.
Bangkok's well known for places where you can pick up fakes.
Well, Asia is well known.
Yeah, Bangkok especially.
Yeah.
So, especially so, right? I mean, there's this street, in Patpong where they will display all kinds of catalogs for you to pick up items.
It's not just that; it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
MBK, Siam, you can get all the good stuff there, and it's well known. Yeah, it's a big industry.
So what's this attempt to actually say don't bring fakes into Thailand? What is this trying to achieve?
Don't bring it here. Come here, take it, spend your money, and take it out. Is what they're saying, isn't it?
No.
No?
I mean, first of all, you should not buy fake goods in the first place. It's.
Where do you get your watch?
Who's gonna check? Who's gonna check?
Are they qualified to check?
I mean, no, but who's gonna waste the time to check if you're coming in?
Well, actually, if you go to Europe.
No, but if you're coming in, okay, there's so much hoo-ha about immigration lines being so long to come in to Thailand. I mean, at which point are we going to detain people even longer at the airport?
Oh, at the
but come on. I mean,
randomly they would check, if they suspect that they.
Is this an attempt to prevent the import of fakes? Are the fakes in Thailand not made in Thailand?
No, but they're
or
not
are the fakes in Thailand imported?
They can't be coming in through the airport, through Suvarnabhumi Airport.
No, they're coming in through the
they're
border
coming in by the container load.
Yeah,
They better go to the port and check that.
Well, I think it's just I think the measure and the efforts are the government agency or the custom department to to crack down on the fake goods, and I think there need to be more crackdown of the intellectual property violation.
I don't think so at all. I think all that stuff is so overpriced. All the real stuff is overpriced. Why would you want to spend 800 quid on a Burberry bag when you can get a perfectly good fake one at MBK for like £100? Why? Tell me why. I mean, a lot of people I know, they come here, they want to get a Burberry satchel. In the UK, it costs about 600 quid, or 400, 500 pounds. That's like 25 to 30,000 baht for a leather satchel. No, they wait till they come here, they go to MBK, and they get a perfectly damn good one, for £100, and it's just like the real thing. They can't tell.
They did it in Europe, right?
Yeah.
They said don't bring fakes into Europe, right? Because you will get arrested, you get fined, and you get arrested or whatever.
They catch you doing it.
Right?
If they also, I mean, if they have the time to check through your stuff.
So these brands, this Louis Vuitton and Burberry, are in Europe, right? So they're actually the brand owners are there. So they're preventing
flying.
it
might be tempting fate here, but flying into Heathrow Airport in London on Thai Airways or whatever, I don't see anyone pulling over people and saying, "Oh, can I check your handbag, please?" Real.
Where do you get the receipt?
Yeah.
Well, you are at your own risk, when you travel, and I mean, one would have to be careful and
yeah, but how does a customs official know?
He's
Right,
probably,
that's
My handbag is a fake Burberry.
maybe it now gives them an opportunity to cause trouble now. I accuse you of carrying a fake handbag, and you have to prove that it's not fake. How do you prove that it's not fake?
They have the right to search, if they suspect that there's, fake
So
goods.
the worst thing is, Jay and Pui, they're going to have these commercials playing in the plane. It says, do not bring fake products into Thailand.
I mean, they made that movie, The Hangover 2 here.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and it featured what was allegedly a fake Louis Vuitton handbag, and Louis Vuitton bought legal case against the film company saying that, oh, you displayed a handbag, you used a fake handbag. I mean, come on, get over it. If people want to spend money to buy the real stuff, they're going to do it. Yeah. I mean,
well, as long as that there is a demand.
Yeah.
But I think the officials need to do more to encourage people to buy legal stuff rather than fake stuff.
Yeah, but I think they got it wrong by saying that you don't bring in fakes via the airport, because as we talked about, the fakes are not coming in by the airport on individual, but they're coming by container loads through the borders on the left and on the right.
I can't see any case where someone would willfully bring fakes in. I mean, okay, unless you bought it here the last time and you're revisiting it.
Okay, with that, we've got to end this discussion on this topic as we move into break, and we'll be back with our next two topics, one of which is about the divorce rate. Divorce rates are up. We'll be back in a while.
They can never break your pride.
welcome back. You're watching The Topics. Our penultimate topic today is 1 in 2.8 Thai married couples ended up divorced in recent years. So what's that, like 1/3? Almost?
About 1/3.
2.8. I mean, 2.8 isn't like a whole couple, but 1 out of 2.8 is getting divorced.
Well, you can't get divorced on your own. It happens to two people, right?
No. Well, who's the 0.8? Is the 0.8 the +1 or plus 0.8?
I have no idea. The thing is that you're saying a lot more people are getting divorced. 108,000 divorces in the year 2010.
Okay, are more people getting married though?
There were only 280,000 people.
Only?
Less people are getting married.
285,000 couples got married in 2010. 28% of which, or about 108,000, divorced in the same year.
Okay, I hope it's not those who just got married.
So,
I don't think it's referring to those who just got married.
No,
that
no, but I think it's
strange.
108,000 couples got divorced.
in the same year.
Yeah, in that year.
But not the same, not 1 year marriages, surely.
Yeah. Okay, so what's happening? You're married,
Yes, I am.
so share your perspective.
Happily married?
Oh yes, very
Please,
happy.
Yeah. Not a desperate housewife?
No, not a desperate housewife. Not at all. My 2nd year anniversary is coming up in November, so it's I've only been married for 2 years and.
What a big ring you have.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you.
Happily
My
married
husband
for
is
sure.
Very generous. But I mean, it's if you look at the statistic here, it's very alarming because if about 300,000 couples get married,
Yeah.
in a
Annually.
couple of years ago, and then 1/3 gets divorced in the same year, it's pretty scary statistic because it's either through economic hardship or it's lack of understanding or whatever, or people get married for the wrong reason.
Do you think it's Thai women taking control of their lives more and realizing that a lot of their husbands are sort of drunken philanderers and saying, hey, I've had enough of this. I'm on. What do you think?
Perhaps.
Is that
I
possible?
think people want to. I mean, people are gaining, women are financially independent now, and guys, and men are also getting married when they get older. I mean, as they get older. So maybe it's
more guys. It's more guys marrying and realizing that they're not actually heterosexual. They're actually homosexual and getting divorced and switching.
The third party
No,
is
no,
his
I don't
best
think
friend.
so.
Okay. No, but perhaps the statistics look bad because less people are getting married. As in, the pool of people getting married is dropped significantly.
What?
Well, I'm not
285,000?
sure.
No?
We don't know. I don't know what
was the previous year or the
it
year
doesn't
before,
say,
but
it doesn't say.
the report also goes on to say that people are marrying late or delaying marriages, right?
No,
People
but
are not
actually,
getting
generally
married.
speaking, half of the married couple end up in a divorce anyway. You know, so it's statistically
I mean, in
speaking.
the UK, the statistics are much higher than that. Divorce rates are much higher. I think it's
Now,
almost...
these are referring to officially registered marriages, correct?
Yeah,
There are a lot of people in Thailand who actually are married, but they are not officially registered. That means you're not registered with the government authority. You just went through a ceremony.
Well,
or
think of all the
or
minor
marriage.
wives as well. Okay.
Right. But why are
Minor
people
Well, the
not
second wife,
registering?
minor wife, it's not a technical term.
I know
right?
why.
Minor is a smaller size wife.
Turning the clock back 20 or 30 years, talking about minor wives. No, but I mean, if you could add those ones into the statistics as well, then it would be a lot more.
Yeah, so
divorces.
there are actually a lot of, so I mean,
Well, those are the ones that are causing divorce.
really?
Well, I mean, first of all, don't cheat on your wife, don't cheat on your husband. If you're gonna get married, you better make sure you have to be in a monogamous.
What was the statistic last week?
Yeah,
that Thai
Thailand was
women...
number one in terms of men. The most men with the most.
I thought it wasn't the men. I thought it was the women.
Men was number one. Women
that were
was
most.
number two.
That were the most. They had the highest infidelity rate. In
Men
the world.
was number
Thai
one
women.
in the world. Women was number two in the world.
Okay.
Yeah. For the survey that was done last week.
The Durac survey.
Durac survey.
Did you hear about? Did you read about
No,
this?
I didn't hear
They
about
said
it.
no. I thought they said that 69% of Thai women. 69%? I don't know.
Anyway, they were saying that women had the ability
had been
to
unfaithful to their
the
partners.
women now have the ability to be like men.
No,
apparently.
cheating is cheating, so don't do it. If you're going to be committed in a committed relationship, whether you legally married or not, if you are in a relationship, you should not cheat, you should not lie. So it's let's keep this
I would add to it. I would add to this, you know. I mean, get married for the right reasons. We're out of time on this topic. We'll move to our next topic, right? So our next topic is about, I think, two young girls who actually died in PP Island.
PP Island?
And an autopsy report said they found insecticide, DEET, in their bodies.
Yeah, two Canadians.
And apparently, you know, it's not poison. They were not given this. They were not given this accidentally. How did this happen?
Well, they weren't intentionally poisoned, right? But what they say is that on some of the bucket type cocktail drinks that you can buy in these resorts, they used DEET as one of the ingredients. And that, if they put too much in, that can lead to quite a gruesome...
It tastes horrible, I'm sure, right? Firstly.
Well, I mean, I think if you mix it, you know, with the cocktail, with
why
the drinks,
the hell do you want to put insecticide into...
Okay, so let's see. The other chemical is potentially neurotoxic, is a potentially neurotoxic mosquito repellent. Okay, we know that much about DEET, so it's been around for years. It's sometimes used as an ingredient to add an extra kick to a euphoria-inducing cocktail that is popular among young people in Thailand. So,
have you heard of it? I mean, okay, we've gone past that age, but you know, I think it's going to be totally ridiculous to be drinking stuff like that.
I'd hate to think that when I've been out at a party or in the islands partying back in the day, that I was taking drinks that had DEET in. I mean,
no.
I mean, how crazy is that? I mean, you're buying drinks at some beach bar late at night. Everyone's totally bombed out of their brains or high. And the guy behind the bar is some beach kid who's pouring drinks, and he's also adding in DEET into their little silver bucket. I mean, that's crazy. That's really crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
How
just
do we
like
stop this? How do we stop this?
Well, I mean,
it's already caused the death of 2 people now, and this is going into global attention now. People all over the world are looking at this. Why we are drinking insecticides in Thailand? How do we stop this?
Yeah, first of all, I mean, tourists who are coming here have to, I think, you know, they have to be careful.
Yeah.
You know, and not drink the drinks that are given, you know, from strangers.
It's not the first time.
It's happened a few times over the last few years. So it's just that, I mean...
But some of the, you know, I mean, a lot of the tourists that are coming here, the youngsters, you know...
Oh, they're coming here to enjoy themselves,
to enjoy
and get drunk and get high and have a good party, go to full moon party and whatnot. And this is all part of the experience, having those bucket drinks. But I'm sure if they knew that there's potentially fatal ingredient in there, I mean, there must be another way of doing it, making those drinks without putting in DEET. I mean...
Is it because the price of alcohol is too high and DEET is cheap? I don't know. What the hell?
No,
what do you do?
No, because
the
point is that it gives it a more of a kick. I mean, it's like people drink vodka Red Bull, you know, when they go out because they want to get you know, they want to get like an up, you know, they want to get more energy, get an energy boost. So they'll drink a vodka Red Bull.
Yeah, vodka Red Bull is not dangerous if it's not behind a Ferrari, right? So. Anyway, so, so that's definitely safer than drinking insecticide. Come on, right?
It's dangerous, you know. And I mean, it's drinking. It's the mix of these drinks. I think they have to be, you know, regulated. I mean, not regulated.
I think it's hard. It's going to be hard.
It's going to be impossible.
But I think the authorities in these islands like PP, Phang Nga, they need. You know, wherever Samui, wherever there's a big party going on, wherever these kind of beach hut places are where these drinks are sold, I think it's going to be pretty hard for them to stamp out the practice of doing it, but people should know.
Yeah.
I mean, young backpacker tourists should know the dangers. I mean, it's one thing just buying some weed off some guy and smoking it. Okay, maybe a lot of people might do that. But it's another thing like buying cocktails. And if they knew that what had happened and that this had these ingredients in it, then I'm pretty sure that they might stick to something slightly less exotic, you know?
Well, we're out of time. It was fun having our first female guest, wasn't it, Jay? We had a female perspective on
Yeah.
a lot of topics. Thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you.
Right, so thank you for watching us, and as usual, you can go to Facebook, facebook.com/thetopics, where you can suggest topics of interest that you want us to address, as well as comment on our show. So we'll see you next week.
Don't believe what they tell you. They try to sell you. When dreams died, plans fell through. They can never break your pride. It's time to regulate.